Jinwoo and Cha are an amazing power couple with top tier chemistry. But there is one girl that got the short end of the stick, and I truly feel she deserves so much freaking better. And that's Joe Hei, the B-ranked healer that healed, cared, and was in love with Sun Jinwoo long before he became the absolute monster he is as of the present. And in all honesty, I just feel like they didn't do enough justice when it came to Joe Hei, and frankly, I would have loved to see them actually end up together. With that said, I'm sure some of you are looking at the title and you're like, them ending up together? Do you just not like Cha? Do you hate Cha? And it's not that I hate Cha by any means. I love Cha. I really do. But the reality is Joe Hei was that absolute diamond, like a genuine diamond that Sun Jinwoo should have cherished so damn much. From the very freaking beginning, we saw how much that girl cared. And you always make these memes up, and people talk about these memes like, nobody loved me when I was nothing. But she really did. She loved Sun Jinwoo when he was legitimately nothing. And that for me is something that really deserves a ton of merit and deserves a ton of applause. Because at the end of the day, I felt like Joe Hei deserved a chance at least being with Sun Jinwoo for a short amount of time, or even ending up together, because I felt like the two of them were the perfect match. Somebody who saw the strength in Sun Jinwoo, saw the greatness in the character and the person that he was when he was a legitimate E-rank hunter, and then she watched as he became one of the most, if not the most, powerful hunter in existence. I always believed that that storyline would have been amazing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's so flawless and perfect to only have Joe Hei and that Cha shouldn't have existed or blah, blah, blah. No, of course not. I felt, though, that Joe Hei was hands down someone that deserved so much better. From the very beginning, we saw how she treated Sun Jinwoo with love, with respect, and with a ton of worry, right? This was somebody, keep in mind, that didn't like being a hunter. She didn't like it. And frankly, the reason why she even stuck around was because of her love for Sun Jinwoo. Stuck around to make sure that he was okay, that he was safe, and that's what she did because she cared that much. It wasn't because she was like, oh, I'm a B-rank hunter, I'm gonna get my jobs, I'm gonna get money, whatever. No. It was quite the opposite. Funny enough, she would even go on smaller type quests, like the lower rank quests, not necessarily because she only wanted to be around Sun Jinwoo, but mainly because she never even liked hunting in the first place. It scared her. It terrified her. She was scared of essentially being mortally wounded, or people she loved be mortally wounded, and something along those lines. And we see it from the very beginning. That first dungeon that we see those two in, she's worried, she's healing him, she's basically asking him, no, don't do this, don't go further, I want you to be safe, I want you to be okay. And I've never seen a woman lay it out for somebody as much as Joe Hei did, because she flat out was like, you still owe me that date, you still owe me this, you still owe me that. It was a pleasure watching the two of them and their chemistry, and I loved Joe Hei so freaking much. And we saw that she was absolutely petrified of these dungeons when we saw her and what happened during the double dungeon. And the reality is, she wanted out. She wanted nothing to do with the double dungeon. And Jinwoo and his, overzealousness, him wanting to do more, make more, and hope that he can, prove himself to himself and to other people that he was useful, got them into that double dungeon. But I will say, Sun Jinwoo his intellect and all that stuff also got them out of the double dungeon. They could have survived. All of them could have survived that double dungeon. And well, the mass majority of them did if they just followed his lead the entire way. Funny enough, Joe Hei was a person that was willing to stake her life on Sun Jin-woo. That is how much she loved him. She was willing to stake her freaking life on it, that Sun Jin-woo was going to be able to think of a way out, figure out a way out, and all of the above. She saw the greatness in Sun Jin-woo, the potential in Sun Jin-woo before anybody else, and before he even got the powers of the Shadow Monarch. She was fully in to Sun Jin-woo, and also understood that just because he's an E rank doesn't mean that the guy's stupid, because he is definitely freaking not stupid. And really, the time it really goes on and on with Joe Hei and Sun Jin-woo. And you watch as Sun Jin-woo progresses, gets stronger, becomes more competent, and all these things. And I felt like in this moment, this was the time where Sun Jin-woo was finally going to be the person that Joe Hei deserves. Someone that can protect her, someone that actually fares very well to the point where maybe he can take care of her and make it so that she doesn't have to go out and dungeon raid anymore, right? She doesn't have to do that, right? She can stay away from that life because of Sun Jin-woo. And I always thought that that could have been the direction that it went, right? That he got stronger so that she no longer had to put her life at risk. And I know, obviously, she ends up not putting her life at risk. She ends up going home and, you know, staying away from the life of someone who delves in dungeons and stuff like that. But I just felt like this was the perfect opportunity to have a moment like that, where he was like, I'm going to take care of you now. Like, you took care of me all this time, all these years, protected me, healed me, made sure I was okay. And now I get to do the same for you, right? And that is something I genuinely, when I first was watching this, right, I thought it was going to be like that. I was super into the idea of Joe Hei being a major part of Sun Jin-woo's, like, you know, entire glow up, entire, you know, progression. And it ended up not being that way. It ended up not being that way. Now, Sun Jin-woo had his moments where he saved her. He saves her on multiple occasions, you know, shows off what he can do. And they have that last moment where they kind of have their final goodbyes, and they kind of, like, you know, go their separate ways. And she kind of, like, you know, she kind of says her goodbyes, right? And she does bring up the fact that, like, hey, like, you owe me that. Like, you owe me that date, right? You owe me that whatever. And it sucks because it's like, damn, you really let a diamond go, right? And I won't say Chaw's not a diamond, and she's awesome and she's amazing, but in this moment, I felt like he owed more to Joe Hei than what he actually gave off, right? It felt like you owed so much to this girl. And obviously she wasn't doing this because she wanted him to owe her or anything like that. But she was doing it because she loved him, right? She cared for him. She wanted him safe. She wanted him to do this. But at the end of the day, it would have been nice to have her and him be together, and she was able to watch as he grows into a B rank, an A rank, and then eventually becoming Japan's next S rank. And I would have loved to have her be involved in that, like, you know, in that surprise factor of, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did it. But while they're dating, while they're together. And like I said, I truly believe they should have ended up together. Like, they should have actually been endgame, or at least should have been a large proportion of time with them together. But obviously that ends up not happening. I would have even taken, you know, a small little portion, like season 1 and season 2 was them dating, and then they ended up, you know, going their separate ways because of the fact that they're so different, right? Sun Jin-woo seeks out the dangers. Sun Jin-woo looks for that. And for Joe Hei, she couldn't handle the feeling of being so terrified over him, wondering if he's going to come home, wondering if he's going to be alive in the morning. if he's really gonna come up alive after the 2 weeks he spends in whatever dungeon he goes to. I would have at least enjoyed that more, because it would have been like, hey, this was the right person, but unfortunately it was just the wrong time, right? Like, it was like genuinely, it's just wrong person, right person, wrong time, right? And I just felt like it could have been that, right? And it could have been also a moment of like, you know what? Maybe we're too different. Like, maybe you love the dungeons, you love fighting, you love getting stronger too much, right? Maybe you love that too much, and you love that more than you do me. And that's understandable, right? That's understandable. You have a greater purpose in all of this, right? You have a greater purpose in everything that we're gonna do. So it's okay that you're going. It's okay that you leave me. It's okay that you left me behind. And I would have loved that. I would have loved the moment where maybe Joe Hei ends up breaking it off, because she's like, look, you love the thrill. You love getting stronger. You love becoming better, right? You love all of those things. We're too different. We're too different. And you're always going to love that more than you're going to love me. And I feel like the best case is for us to go our separate ways when we still love each other, when we still care for each other, because you need somebody that is going to be on the front lines with you, not somebody who needs you to be on the front lines to protect them. And that could have been our eventual leeway or kind of our entrance into the whole Chaw arc. And I would have really liked that. I think that would have been awesome. But for me, if I'm being selfish, if I'm being super selfish, I'm saying I want Joe and I want Sun Jin-woo, and I want them together, and I want them as endgame. But with that said, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. I appreciate everybody that's watching the videos, everybody that's enjoying the videos. Please, with that said, leave suggestions, what you want me to talk about, what animes you want me to watch, or what romance animes. I know this isn't technically a romance anime, but this is a romance, so I felt like I really wanted to talk about it. And yeah, it's really all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.